Assembly's live, so come subscribe. Your soul's in trial, or simply tired. Your soul medicine, it gets revived. The warrior line, soul tribe. Assembly's live, it's friendly vibe. Your soul medicine will give you life. Your warrior, let's get this right. Warrior line, soul.
So that's the place where where it came from. Yeah.
You said a lot.
I'm sorry, maybe say it too much. I was just trying.
No,
But yeah.
no.
Yeah.
That's not why I said it like that.
Yeah.
I'm processing what you said because you said so much and you said so many really excellent points, like how people put a time limit on grief and the expectation of what grief is without ever having experienced it and imposing that on other people or even yourself.
Yes.
Grief isn't linear.
No.
When we talk about the stages of grief, we meaning the we with quotes, right? It's in books. Therapists talk to you about it. If you experience a great loss in your life, you go online and you look up grief. And one of the most popular things you'll find is the stages of grief, really believing that it's linear, but it's not.
Right.
And then you also mentioned how there's this presumption that there's a finality to grief.
Right.
But really, grief is going to be finished with you when you're finished with it.
Yes.
And it shows up when it wants to.
Yes.
So I'm just going over the brilliance of what you just said because it was a lot, right? So I wanted to kind of highlight those points because I think they're really important. And again, that's one of the things I love about this book. It isn't a big book, but like reading the Bible, you're not going to blast through it.
Right.
It's not a murder mystery. It's like, for people who are believers, it's like reading the Bible, where sometimes reading 2 sentences can take your Bible study a month to discuss, go over, process, argue, and finally get it, right? This is your words and Iris's words are so powerful that what you're presenting, at least for me, I wanted to pause and put the book down. Remember I told you when I was reading it?
Yeah.
I was quoting it in my post because it was so brilliant. And grief is it is a universal human experience. And it's unfortunate that we infuse our ego into it.
Yes.
Because it makes grief, the process of grieving, mourning, accepting loss, that makes it that much harder.
Right.
And we allow other people to insert their ego and their perspective onto our grief process. Like by saying, shouldn't you be over this yet?
Yes. Please don't do that. That's I can't remember. That's a killer. And I used to, and I've learned that's because you can really make it worse for people. Because if you say they should be over, then they're over, then what they're going to do? They're going to feel worse, right? So what you're doing is adding injury to insult. Yeah, that's painful. Yeah.
Back to your about you at the end of your book. Bishop Williams' literary works mirror his life's purpose, sharing powerful lessons of faith, resilience, and unity. His memoir, My Father's Business, recounts a lifetime of purpose and spiritual discovery, weaving together the transformative moments that defined his relationship with Christ beyond doctrine. And likely, he and his co-author tackle America's toughest social and moral challenges, encouraging readers to confront difficult conversations head-on. That last sentence is my impression of you as a person, that you are willing to have the more difficult conversations. And so leading with that, when you chose the different, for all intents and purposes, the different characters of the Bible and their grief experience, was this something that you yourself wrote because that was where you found comfort, strength, and grace in your grieving? Or was it just you, as a bishop, you knew that those Bible characters did grieving and grief well?
Oh, I chose them. It was very personal because each one of us. That's why I chose 2 men and two women. Because in Job's case, I chose him because the grief that he experienced was brought on by God in a deal that God made with the devil. And I talked about the cup that God gives us, and we all have a cup. And many times we don't know what's in that cup. And the thing about Job, it wasn't in death. You know, he didn't die, but his children died. He did more. It's more than death. He lost everything. He lost a lot, and he still trusted God. And I talk about in that, you know, will we trust God no matter what is put in our cup, even if God's the cause of put in our cup. Naomi was a powerful story because she just, you know, she just truly trusted God, and she didn't have resentment and fury, and she did a lot. She lost a lot. She lost children, but she still trusted God, and she even put her faith in somebody else. And I think about her story, and I think about am I a friend enough to a person that if they're grieving, going through, I'm not talking about the ones that get a new house and the new cars and the Cadillacs, they got the big bank accounts. Oh yeah, they'll love you. Can I be there for somebody through that process of the greatest pain they can experience, particularly for a woman and a man losing a child? Can I be there? Can I support them? Am I willing to go through the grief process with people? Chose Hannah because Hannah is just a power study of just true grit and determination. She, you know, back in those days, you know, men had more than one wife, and she was the wife of a man, and her sister had children by the man. She was barren. She didn't have children. Her sister was very ugly toward her, and what she suffered, the stigma she suffered. And I think about the women today in our society and choosing her, how, you know, they suffer, you know, with abortion issues and pro-choice issues and all that kind of stuff, how they're still stigmatized, how Kamala Harris was just stigmatized, how Jasmine Crockett was stigmatized. It's just like what Hannah did, but she wanted a child, and she prayed to God to get a child. And this, what her prayer was powerful, because she said, if you give me this child, I'll return it back to you. And in human nature, you know how we are. We'll make a promise, and we get the promise, we forget what we said on the other side of the promise. But then when she weaned him and she raised him to the age of what he could, you know, not maturity, but old enough to be on his own, she took him to the temple and gave the prophet we call Samuel back to God. And so she suffered, but she did a promise. She had great grief, but she didn't let her gift, she didn't let her, what she wanted, erase what she had promised God. And that's powerful. And I asked myself, can I be that type of friend that when I got the victory, can I still keep my promises to people? Can I still love Jennifer and Todd? Can I be there for them if I told them I could be there for them? Or when I get the victory, or when I get mine, I forget about them. And so many times we leave people in their grief, and we leave them in their victory. And that's Hannah. And of course, David, you know, he was plagued by Absalom, and he needed a lot of forgiveness. He had a man killed and things like this, but David always knew how to go to God for forgiveness, even when he messed up, had a man killed to get his wife, you know, had his own son raped his daughter, who was his sister, and he didn't do nothing about it. And so David was a very interesting character, very conflicted character, and they remind me of life, where life is so conflicted. We are so many. I have people all tell me, you know, You know, who are you? Well, I'm happiness. I'm joy. I'm mean spirited. I'm nice. I'm funny sometimes. I'm mean sometimes. I'm a lot. I'm grief. I'm anger. I'm joy. I'm frustration. This is when I tell people all the time, quit hiding your emotions. If you're angry, say you're angry. If you're happy, say you're happy. If you're grieving, say you're grieving. Quit trying to be to people what you really know that you're feeling, because in the end you got to be true to yourself, because you got to live with yourself. And so why try to be a front before people? Yeah, I'm angry. I'm an angry black man. I'm an angry man. If I'm angry, I'm angry, and I got a right to be angry. And if I'm not, I'm not. If I'm happy, I'm happy. But I don't have to justify, qualify, quantify, or make you feel at peace because you don't want me to be in a certain situation. And that's why grief is so hard to people, because are we the person that somebody can come to you and say, or me, and say, hey, I'm struggling. Hey, you know what? I thought about taking my life last night. Hey, I'm not over this. Hey, I'm still struggling with the loss of this friend. I'm still struggling with the loss of this job. I'm still struggling with the loss of my marriage. I'm still struggling. I'm not just talking about death and this. I'm talking about a lot of things. But are you the person? Am I the person that if they come and say that I won't judge them? I won't cast them aside or say, oh, you shouldn't be angry about that. Or your mom's been dead, or your husband, your marriage been over for 15 years. Why are you still grieving your marriage? Or you see, can we see people? Can we see people not as we want to see people, but as they are? Somebody need to catch that and say it again. Can we see people not as we want people to be, but as they are? We're such this culture, this America is such a label-driven culture that we have to be our label. And I'm not my label. I am a person made in the image of God. I have many issues. I have many flaws. I have many dysfunctions. And this notion that I don't get angry, that I don't grieve, that I don't suffer, that I don't be down, that I'm not frustrated sometimes, is delusional. And the reason why we live in that delusion, because most of the time we understand people can't handle it. And this is why we fail to advance. This is why we fail to grow. You know, if people online say, why are you talking about slavery? That was a long time ago. So I'm supposed to forget my ancestors because it was a long time ago and what they suffered, just because it's 2025 and I didn't live in that suffering. So I'm supposed to forget about them. I'm not supposed to acknowledge their suffering. That's over with. But then all the time you acknowledging what y'all went through, but I can't acknowledge them. I'm supposed to just erase them, right? Because we don't like to deal with suffering. And this is why we struggle. And so I looked at these characters and in myself, and the men and the women, I reflected and I said, can I be a Hannah? Can I be a Naomi? Can I be a Job? Can I be a David? With all the flaws in my life, can I still be there when grief, particularly, knocks at the door? And